You've been serving everyone, yet being served the least. Not anymore. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here with me, still hanging in there. Thank you so much. Latoya Deshawn, back with another episode. Today's episode is a really good one. So, last one, I'm intimidating and I'm okay with it. Now we're going to talk about a situation where I had to fire someone because I had to choose my sanity over my ego. So the name of this episode is called You're Fired. How I chose my sanity over my ego. Now, again, I'm in Gaborone, Botswana. The goal is to get exposure. And then I also have a workshop coming up. So, I am working on all the things. I know how to expose myself. I know how to get myself out there. But I've booked the hotel now. I have a date. I have a time. And so now it's about getting everyone on board to know about this event. So I met a woman here because I was meeting everybody, passing my card out everywhere. And this woman responded back to me and she said, let's meet. I could tell she was a woman of prominence, of importance, because of how she just showed herself. But then when I met her, and then she told me her occupation and just her experience in her field. And so I met her and at my usual hotel, President Hotel, that's my office space, is what I call it. And what was really great about her is that she has a really prominent job in Gaborone, but she also has access to women in Botswana. And so within 5 minutes of talking with her, I began to learn a lot about her life and the tears started coming. And I'm not going to say I didn't realize or I didn't know, but if I would have known how many women would cry at us having the conversation the way that in which I like to lead the conversation, I'd be a rich woman already. And so not really surprised that she's getting to the space of being vulnerable. I appreciate that. But that also in her doing that, realized that she has dreams of being an entrepreneur, that just like so many women, that they're working these jobs, but they're not fulfilled. They're not happy. They're not walking in their purpose. And so she has I think 3 kids. She has a husband. And so she has responsibilities. So these are some of her challenges and what she thinks holds her back. And so she wants to be an entrepreneur, do her woman empowerment thing. She's a pastor, all the things. And so I know how to do entrepreneurship. I know how to start that process. This is what I help people do. So I figured we could help each other, because she also has a very large network to women and I wanted to have access to them. Now, before I go into how I had to quote unquote, air quote, fire her, I want to just talk about what I appreciate about this woman. And she, a lot of people in Botswana, and what is great about Botswana is that people really, it's community oriented. People like to hang out. And what I realized, Saturday should be called Women Empowerment Day, because women love to get together and be together and do activities and just uplift each other. And so I noticed that. So she invited me to her monthly women's event where I was the special guest. So we were doing golfing. It was cool at this nice little, I don't even know what you would call it, whatever, like a golf space. And so got to meet her friends and just talk with them. And when I talked and had the floor to speak about what it is that I do, they were very interested. They really resonated with the topic of holding women in high regard and helping them structure their businesses because they want to live a life of more freedom because they're not fulfilled in their current life. So it was great because not that I should need the validation, but it's nice to have it, to know that all the work that I've been doing around this subject, I'm speaking to that woman directly and she feels me and she feels like she can get some strategies and some solutions from me. So when she invited me out, it was just a pleasure to be there. I was able to talk about my business. It was a good time. I'm hugging the women and we're talking about the workshop that we're going to do and we're ready to go. She also invited me to a traditional wedding. Now, again, we have decided we're going to help each other out. She's going to give me her network. I'm going to help her with starting her business. And I challenged her to let's start her podcast in the time that I'm here, so that before I leave, she have a podcast to start. So that is what I felt like the one thing she could start doing. That's the thing she wanted to do. And so together, like, we could help each other out to make that happen. And so I'm holding my end to the bargain. I'm getting my workshop together, just, checking in with her, like, can we post it? Do you like the verbiage that I'm using? And just all these things. I'm checking in with her. And it's been a little bit challenging to get in touch with her. I know she is a busy woman, but I'm still looking for her cooperation because she decided that she would partner with me and do this. And so she also invited me to a traditional wedding, and I had never been to a Botswana wedding, and I consider myself to be a wedding crasher, a proud wedding crasher. And I love to go and just experience a wedding in a different country, culture, and just different people, different vibe, different energy. So went to this traditional wedding, down to the clothing, to the food, to just everything they did. Like, I just really appreciated being in the space and seeing how they love on this new couple entering marriage. So and one of the traditions is after they do their morning wedding, which happens around 6 a.m., afterwards, we are sitting down and eating porridge, drinking coffee, things like that, having bread. And so me and her are sitting down talking and just talking about all the things. And she mentions to me, because we're talking a little bit about business in the workshop and just dreams and desires. And she says to me, I was talking to one of my friends and I said, LaToya thinks that I'm her that she's my boss. And I was like, a chuckle, like, because I was like checking in with her daily about like ticket sales. Like, right now we have tickets out, and what's happening with that. What do we need to do? Sent her some videos in terms of marketing videos. Like, what do you think? Just wasn't getting a response, but also just it's a day-to-day check in, and I didn't mind to do that. And so we hung out the entire day at this wedding. And so I had a really great time. And so as I'm about to tell this story of how there was a huge turning point, which started from her saying that LaToya thinks that I'm her employee. Some things that I began to notice about her and just speaking is that, again, well put together woman, nice job, but realized that when we would hang out, it would always be centered around a restaurant because she wanted to get food. And then there would also be times where like she would have this nice car, because everyone in Botswana has a nice car, but oftentimes the gas isn't where it needs to be. But she was oftentimes needing gas, or just like would add a story that would center around her, like kind of being in need, even though she came off really cocky, especially talking about the women empowerment stuff. Like, I help these women do that. I help them get to where they need to be. And so she prided herself on helping women better themselves. Look at all that I've done. And so again, with this also being a woman who's a pastor and things like that, we do things to honor God. It's never about us. So these are just some things that I started to notice about her. But what I also know is that people are always cocky until you start asking for money. That's why when people think that they can be an entrepreneur and they want to go through all these things talking about, should I get an LLC? What's my domain? What's my website? All this craziness, when really I just need to see you demonstrate that you can actually sell, that you can make some money and do a money exchange. You don't need any of those things to do that. So although she was cocky about her ability to empower women, when we were talking about the pricing, because we went back and forth with that for a while, we also was having contention there. So I started to just see like, maybe she shouldn't be helping me, collaborating with me. She really needs to just attend and be a student, right? Even though this woman's older than me, has her 3 kids, been married for over 20 something years, like we are not on the same page with how we're doing things. At the end of the day, this workshop is under Patent Leather Project, period. And so, like I said, when I met with her, she would always like order food, even when I didn't order food. The facade was real. And so when she said, LaToya thinks I'm her employee, it didn't sit well with me. It was on my mind for 3 days. Also in that time, she was just unresponsive for 2 of those days while I was asking for an update. I felt like she was rebelling at this point. Like she wasn't, I mean, she's not an entrepreneur. She doesn't understand the rigor, but you still work for a good job. You know about checking in, checking up, being where you need to be, following through. Like you're not new to this. And so because what I felt like was rebelling, and when I started to take myself out of it personally, I just was like, I need to get this taken care of. Like I'm having a workshop. I need to show up for myself because I was gonna like not have the workshop at all. And so I really needed to just like show up for myself. So I switched some things around. I had to change the price of the workshop. I had to, I also just didn't feel comfortable around her. I felt like she was kind of using me, going to, again, when we met, it would always be centered around food or something that benefited her. And then, I was just anxious as it began to relate to her when I thought about her. And so what I think is that my body was keeping the score and I had to respond to what my body was telling me. And so the day of when I fired her, because I was about to meet, I canceled the hotel that I was at. I picked another hotel and I'm about to drop off my deposit. I have this man helping me. It's hot as I don't know what outside. And now she wants to call me. And I pretty much told her, I said, hey, I decided that I'm not using you, that in the spirit of me, you thinking that I'm your boss, that you don't have to do anything anymore, that I have it figured out. I have my own hotel. I'm taking your name off the flyer. You don't have to give this out to your network, nothing. And so she was a bit shocked in a sense that she didn't speak too soon. And then I told her some other things, like I changed the price, and that really it's just about me showing up, that my goals are different, that I'm not even really trying to coach the women permanently afterwards. Again, she just kind of was quiet. And when she finally just decided to speak, she said, well, Latoya, that's okay. All right. I don't understand like why we're here, but like it seems like you're instituting all the ideas that I told you about when we were doing the event. Because again, she wanted me to play small and just charge like a certain price, and I wanted to charge another price. And if I wanted to continue to invest in the women afterwards, I would have still held true to my price, because people, in order to qualify candidates, right, going back to business, to qualify them, then you don't want people who aren't willing to show up and invest in themselves, even if it's a small dollar amount at first for a workshop and then leading into like a group coaching program. So I knew what I was doing. I didn't need her to tell me that. Like, I didn't need that. So again, I'm just kind of like, every time you talk, I feel small. Every time you talk, I feel like I'm lacking confidence, and I just didn't like it. So she had to go. And although she said she was okay with it, and she was like, Latoya, you don't need to repeat yourself, because that's one of my toxic traits, is that when I don't feel like I'm understood, all I do is just repeat myself. So I will repeat myself until I feel like I get the clarity that I need. And so I wanted her to be clear, so I repeated myself. And so when we get off the phone, and what I thought was the end of it was not. She proceeded to call again, call a few times, send a huge text message. Okay, tell me about, everything was about her feelings. Everything was so self-centered around her. And how can I do this to her? And again, how I was able to move forward and move through my discomfort is that this isn't about me. I'm not taking this personal. There's a workshop that needs to be done so that we can help empower women in this country. That's what I'm here for. And so she was not available for 2 days, but all of a sudden you're available to like go back and forth. And so we weren't able to talk because it's hot outside. I only have this man helping me out. I got to get a passport photo also, because I'm getting a visa, just all these things. I don't have time to talk to you. We're done. You should have been available. But it got too much. I got on the phone with her and we went back and forth a little bit, but she said, I want us to talk in person, because for some reason it just wasn't going well on the phone. So I told her I'll be available, let me know. So I didn't hear from her. When I get home later that evening, after I finished my work for the day, I said, you know what? I haven't heard from her, but I want to end this because truly I want to move forward. She's already made her decision and I've made mine. So I just want to get the clarity. I'm not afraid to walk through this. Let me do it. So I did a voice memo that was around 12 minutes. And briefly, I'm going to talk about what it is that I did not like about this person and why she had to be fired. And so really, when I get to it, this woman was just very busy at her work. She would always say, I'm busy. I had a long day. She really was busy. So I don't think it was wrong for me to like catch her in that and say, hey, it seems like this is above your capacity and let's just move forward because it seems like you're busy. She said this is her busiest time. So that's one reason. It just didn't seem like the workshop was a priority. Again, this is her busiest time. The workshop is not your priority. It's not your business. Not what you've been working on for the last 3 years of your life. It's what I've been doing. You know, she was unsupportive of my marketing efforts. And so my videos and my social media script, it's like, look, I know exactly how I want to do this business. But again, she had the audience. And so that's how she was able to sort of like have contention. But I know what I'm doing. And so I didn't like that she did not post any of the marketing. In fact, she did not post anything after she made her initial post of the workshop. So it was like 5 days and nothing had been posted, and she had been posting every day, and she's addicted to social media. So where you at? Where you at with the post? Are you really trying to help and collaborate or what? And so I didn't like that. It took her 2 days to return my phone calls. And I just, again, you teach people how to treat you. I'm a businesswoman. I know how to run a business. I know how to make money and profit. Like if I call you, call me back. And so that didn't sit well with me. And then again, as I told you, I was trying to get daily updates from her and she just wasn't there. I called her daily and she said she would call me back, and she wasn't doing that. Lastly, she said that, she thought that she was my employee. And again, if that's the case, then let's just do it. I'll meet you where you are. You're fired. And so what I learned, so how I felt about it is that my anxiety was just through the roof. This is my name. This is my reputation. I don't need her to understand. This is my business. I also have a certain vision, and I was losing confidence when she said she was an employee, and then when she was unresponsive afterwards. I just want to serve, and it's not personal to me. I changed the event because I also don't have the same long-term investment in the city due to the events that happen surrounding me not feeling safe there. Also, I tapped in my community and they affirmed me the way I needed to be. So where I was feeling my body was keeping the score and I was anxious about her being unresponsive, I had to have my friends support me. I had to do a whole thing to move through that. I'm not willing to go back in there when you've already shown me where you sit. And then I also realized what I already know is that I'm stronger than I know. I can do this. And, I don't need her. And the last thing is I wrote a post about people being lazy and making excuses. But let's just face it. A lot of my work is centered around that and me helping people get out of their excuses and show up for themselves. And so, of course, she thought the post had something to do with her. And it could have. I mean, if you think it's about you, then it's about you. But the reality is that she wasn't showing up. She wasn't doing the things she needed to do. And she was mad that I challenged her. And that in her being cocky and feeling like that she was around a group of women where she felt like she was the head, I felt like I challenged her in that. But the difference between her and I is that I'm not trying to exert my power. It's just that in being a leader, I think that there's always an opportunity to learn. So I just think when it really came down to it, the thing she said she wanted entrepreneurship, she wasn't really ready to do what it takes to get close to it, in my opinion. So no love lost. I got a job I got to do, and I'm happy with doing that. So, what I learned is that if it's not your business, you don't have to feel obligated to do anything. You don't. And this is for people who work for people. Okay, you do not have to feel obligated. If it's not something that's outside of the realm, you need to be able to communicate. And that was the part that was bothering me the most. It was the lack of communication. And then also, like, I work with intention. I work on purpose. I set goals. I take notes. I write a to-do list. That's what everything on purpose is all about, working on the front end of life. And so she just wasn't doing that. So anybody who's not doing that in my world, you got to know I'm going to be uncomfortable. Okay. And it ain't going to be nothing comfortable about it. Toya's uncomfortable. And so when she was not doing that and getting on the front end so that we can guarantee that we hold women in high regard, no. This woman had to let her go to preserve my sanity and preserve my ego. And then, in the spirit of purpose, and I move forward. And the thing I said all the time in 2021, my statement is, it's okay to move forward. Oftentimes we get stuck in the middle of how we feel about a certain situation, but it's okay. Feelings are not facts. And a lot of times feelings pass. So if you just give yourself that time, right, they will pass and you'll feel okay. Your body will let you know. So I do that now. I understand. And so I stay focused. There's a workshop on its way. The next, not right now, we got one more episode, but the next, pretty soon you're going to get some radio interviews of me promoting my event, as well as a recap of this event. And so just know the transformation happened, and it's okay to fire people who do not align with your vision and what you want for your life. Outcome focus is the goal and the only goal. And so thank you so much for this. Again, always how you can get in touch with me. Just so you know, I do personal coaching. It's all about helping people gain confidence and transform their life. It's an 8-week group coaching program that I like to call resilience and rediscovery. Okay. But really just helping entrepreneurs, business owners make healthier decisions in their personal and professional lives using mental health strategies and business strategic planning. So why do I think I'm valuable? Because I understand that that most of this entrepreneur journey is all about assessing your mental health. And I have the strategies to help you be strong in that area, move past it, and don't be someone sitting around saying, you think you're my boss, because you have your own opportunity to be your own boss. And that's the main reason why a lot of women go into entrepreneurship. They want to be their own boss. Are you really ready to do the work? You must decide. Do 8-week coaching. I'm available if you are interested. info@patentleatherproject.com. info@patentleatherproject.com. Also with that, I do consulting. So I help small and medium-sized corporations develop their corporate identity and branding using mental health strategies and business strategic planning. And so I empower these teams and staff to build the confidence and work towards the vision and mission of the company, while also looking at their personal pursuits. Pretty much, right? Every company has something that they're up against, whether it's in-house or something that impacts the people that they serve. There's also always people that are standing out and showing up inside of these companies. Regardless of who these people are, they need to be nurtured, they need to be empowered, they need some strategies to help them personally and professionally develop. This is where Patent Leather Project comes in. I'm here to do workshops. I'm here for consulting. I'm here for your personal transformation within your company. info@patentleatherproject.com. info@patentleatherproject.com. Now, again, told you guys there's going to be some radio interviews coming up. I've also spoken at some events right now. I've even did some keynote speaking at a university. I'm out here. I'm ready to do my media appearances for you to book me on your TV, radio, or podcast platform. I want to be featured. Okay. I am here for women empowerment, personal transformation, transformational leadership for your overall well-being. Lastly, I'm on social media, Instagram, Latoya Deshawn, at Latoya Deshawn, LATOYA DESHAUN, LATOYA DESHAUN. Also, you can see me on YouTube, called Everything on Purpose with Latoya Deshawn. And also, I'm a personal makeup artist to high profile talent. That's what got me to where I'm at right now, helping folks. So go ahead. I still do that work. You can go ahead and check out my portfolio at www.latoyadeshawn.com. It's been a pleasure serving you guys today. I will see you on the next episode. Oh,